Factorial experiment, this one it happens when you have more factors or when you have two or more independent variable or two or more dependent variable. Independent variable means things that you want to change. Independent variable means that it's independent, that it will not change throughout the experiment. One could be the movies. Just now we talked about mood is contagious. So in the movie can be manipulated because you change the movie, because there are two types of movie, which is the happy movie and also the sad movie. The independent variable would be the participants, because the participants are the same. Now, you can put the participants into the happy movie and the sad movie later on, or you can have two groups of different people and you put them into different cinema. So different methods, of course, you always invite different the pros and cons. Next one, it's qualitative. Qualitative method, it means quality. We look at in terms of quality. That's why we do interviews. We want to know more about not just what you're trying to look into, but very specific in it. Now, two main methods. Descriptive methods involve the attempt to measure or to record behaviors, thoughts, or feelings in their natural state. So you want to know how they behave, how they think, or how they feel in their natural state. Next one is the experimental methods. You attempt to manipulate. Manipulate hereby, it means you change the condition, which is not natural. So you want to change so that you want to see what's happening. Now, so let's reflect back to what is experiment. Experiment is a research method in which the researcher sets out to systematically manipulate one source of influence while holding others constant. You want to control. Let's say we can talk about mood. So we throw away the temperature, we try to regulate the temperature, or we try to throw away the busy schedule. We make sure that everyone is free at that time. Experiments, they have variables. When you want to do experiments, you need to put them into variables. The first one just now we talked about is the independent variable, which is the variable manipulated by the experimenter. Independent variable, it can be the people, or it can be the items used, or the movie titles. Next one, dependent variable means the variable measured by the experimenter. You want to see the outcome. When you talk about dependent variable, you're talking about the outcome. You want to see whether the mood is happy or sad. That is your dependent variable. You can be two variables, two dependent variables, happy or sad, or three variables, happy, neutral, or sad, or five variables, happy, sad, angry. Now these variables, it's up to you to choose and decide. Next one is a control variable. Control variable means you don't want it to be part of your, it's actually part of your experiment, but you control it. Control variable. These are the variables which is not changed throughout the whole experiment. It's constant. Next one, experiments, you can have different designs. A one-shot case study means you have the same participants and then you have just one experiment. That is called a one-shot case study. But is this good? It's actually not that good. Because if we look back at the mood experiment, it might just because everyone is happy. It's in their natural state. So it's always good for you to compare, or you have more than two groups in order to do comparison. Next one is the experimental group, which is the quasi-experimental and the true randomized allocation. This one we have talked about that just now. And the control group. The control group means, the control group, hereby, when you say the control group, when you have a control group, it means that you do not put the control group into anything at all. The control group might just see a neutral movie, which is neither happy or neither sad, or they might have an outcome. It's good for you to see, it's good for you to put a control group in order to see what your baseline is. Next one, you can also have the pre-test group and also the post-test group. So let's say you want to look at IQ. You can always IQ before studying or IQ after studying, or their cognitive ability. So you can always have their pre-test first. They might score 10, 23, 35 or 29, and after post-test you test them again, they will score 75, 20 or 99. So this shows that there is a difference between the two groups. Because if you do not have the pre-test group, it's very funny. Once you ask them to study and you give them a test, you do not know what your baseline is about. Or in this case, it would be good if you have a control group. So that in this case, you want to test their cognitive ability. So one studies the whole week and one did not study, and you can see whether even the control group, did they show improvement in the second test. If they have an improvement, it means that the studying of materials for a week doesn't necessarily mean that it would bring an outcome or difference or change in the result of the test. Now, some people would ask, what is a perfect experimental method? And because we are living in a world where there are many different factors of influencing us. So I would not say that there is a perfect experiment. Every experiment has flaws. They have weakness. What we can do is always we can go to the next experiment and we can always better the previous experiment. What is the perfect experiment method? There is none. You always have to look back at what your hypothesis is about, how you want to carry your research, in what manner, and the best is to control it so that what you want to find and what you want to get, and you do it nicely. Now, triangulation might be another recommendation for you. Triangulation, hereby it means that you use different methods. You might want to do the same topic, but you can use surveys, you can use questionnaire, you can use archives. This one would be a good method for you, but seldom people do that. Now, questionnaire or survey, I mean, for sure you would know it's a piece of paper asking you to tick or write your opinion. It's a data collection measures. Now, you can observe hereby it's not the participant who ticked, it's you as the researcher, you tick what you observed. Next one is the self-reported measures. Self-reported measures hereby it's you let the participant to tick what they intend to think. It can be their personality or their mood. Next one, other reported measures such as implicit measure. Implicit measure, it's you want to measure something, but that's not the real purpose of why you want to measure. It is the way it is answered, not the content of your questionnaire. Or sometimes you can ask your participants to do a self-reported measures, but actually you're trying to look at what their mood is, or how fast they answer the questionnaire, or how striking the question is, or how fast they answer each question. Now, when you do an experiment or anything, you need to look these two, reliability and validity. And these two is very important. Reliability means the questionnaire that you give to other people, it is tested from time to time, and the result will be the same. If you have an IQ test, one day you test the same person, today you test the person, it gets 100, the next day 50, the next day 75, the next day 150. This one, your questionnaire or your IQ test, it is not reliable because it is not constant over time. For your questionnaire or your test to be able to be reliable, it has to be constant. Means when you get this, when you do this, or when you tick this, you get this answer. Next one is validity. Validity means you test what, you measure what you want to test. Sometimes the questionnaire doesn't have any validity because they tested the wrong things. And it's often present. Sometimes you may think it's funny, but it's truly present. When you want to test something, but actually your validity is so low that it's actually testing something. So how do you overcome these two? You can actually do it in SPSS if you know how to do it. And if you want to learn more about SPSS, it is always in the research method class.